Why is there no pipeline in Mongolia? Mongolia is a landlocked country strategically sandwiched between two of the world's biggest powers, Russia to the north and China to the south. Despite its position between major energy producers and consumers, Mongolia itself does not have a single international oil or gas pipeline running through its territory. This absence is striking when compared with Central Asia, where vast networks of pipelines connect Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan to markets in China, Russia, and beyond. So why is Mongolia left out? The answer lies in a mix of physical geography, economic realities, domestic politics, and broader geopolitical rivalries. One of the biggest reasons Mongolia lacks pipelines is the simple fact of geography. Mongolia's landscape is defined by harsh deserts, rugged mountains, and vast stretches of steppe. While the terrain itself is not impossible to build across, engineers have built pipelines through the Siberian tundra and the Himalayas. It does raise costs considerably. The Gobi Desert in the south poses extreme climate conditions with summer heat exceeding 40 degrees Celsius and winter cold dropping below minus 40 degrees Celsius. Such temperature fluctuations require special materials and maintenance, driving up construction expenses. On top of that, Mongolia is prone to seismic activity, especially in the western part of the country, which raises concerns about pipeline safety and durability. Another factor is the sparse population and weak infrastructure network. With only about 3.5 million people spread across a territory larger than Western Europe, Mongolia lacks the dense urban clusters that make pipeline projects profitable. Building thousands of kilometers of pipeline to serve a relatively tiny domestic market is simply uneconomical. Economics is perhaps the most decisive factor. Pipelines are extremely expensive. For example, Russia's Power of Siberia pipeline cost around $55 billion to build. For Mongolia, with a GDP of just over $20 billion, investing in such infrastructure is beyond reach. Mongolia does have some oil production, around 1.5 to 2 million tons annually, but almost all of it is exported unrefined to China. The country lacks its own large-scale refineries, meaning it cannot process crude oil into fuels domestically. To meet its energy needs, Mongolia must import refined petroleum products, mainly from Russia. Currently, nearly 95% of Mongolia's gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel is imported from Russia, with deliveries made by rail and truck, not pipelines. Russian companies like Rosneft are the dominant suppliers. Because the country's consumption is relatively small compared to its neighbors, Russia has little incentive to construct a dedicated pipeline just for the Mongolian market. Transport by rail is cheaper and flexible enough to meet demand. On the gas side, Mongolia has no domestic production and very limited infrastructure for natural gas. Most households rely on coal or electricity for heating and cooking. For industry and power, coal is again the dominant source. Building a multi-billion-dollar gas pipeline for a market that consumes almost no gas simply does not make commercial sense. It is type of hard to understand it, right? You could use AI to understand these dynamics and establish a future planning properly. So let me introduce you to this incredibly powerful 2-day AI Mastermind happening this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. 2 days with expert mentors, 16 hours of learning, 10 plus AI tools. You go from an AI rookie to AI pro. Now, here's the exciting part. This training normally costs $895, but I have partnered with Outskill, the world's biggest AI education platform, to give away 1,000 free seats to my loyal viewers for the next 72 hours. That's nearly $900,000 in free training. The AI Mastermind has been attended by 4 million people across the globe in the last 12 months who have gone to using AI, building with it, getting salary hike, and being promoted. In this training, you'll gain in-depth knowledge on a wide range of topics, including learn the language of AI, aka prompt engineering to get the best outputs using AI. 10 most powerful AI tools like Make.com, Agentic Hub, and Claude. Using AI in Excel and creating professional presentations effortlessly. Developing AI agents, automating your work to save time and boost productivity. Build interactive apps and websites with AI. Whether you're from HR, marketing, sales, ops, or even running your own business or freelancing, folks from all backgrounds showed up and absolutely loved it. So make sure your calendars are cleared for the weekend. The training is scheduled for the coming Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on both days. Now, I will reveal something even crazier to you. If you sign up right now using the link in description, you also get bonuses worth $5,000, which includes a prompt Bible with 3,000 plus prompts when you attend day 1, roadmap to make money with AI when you attend day 2, and your personalized AI toolkit builder if you attend both days, that even these people did not get when they attended. Without saying much, grab your free seat and you can find the link in the description to save your seat now before it expires. Make sure to join their WhatsApp community to receive all updates. Yes, domestic politics also shape Mongolia's energy destiny. Mongolia is a democracy with frequent government changes and shifting economic strategies. Long-term mega projects like pipelines require stable policies, clear regulations, and guarantees for investors. Yet Mongolian politics are known for unpredictability. For years, the government has prioritized mining, especially coal, copper, and gold over oil and gas. The Oyu Tolgoi copper mine receives far more political attention than any energy project. As a result, Mongolia has not developed a strong institutional framework to support pipeline development. Another political obstacle is public perception. Many Mongolians are cautious about overdependence on either Russia or China. A major pipeline crossing the country would likely tie Mongolia more tightly to one neighbor's strategic orbit. Public skepticism about foreign control over national infrastructure has delayed or blocked many proposals. Geopolitics is perhaps the most fascinating reason Mongolia remains pipeline-free. Positioned between two great powers, Mongolia is extremely cautious about being used as a transit state in energy politics. Russia has long sought to export its gas to China. For years, Moscow promoted the Altai pipeline route through western Siberia into China's Xinjiang region. It proposed the Power of Siberia-2 pipeline, which would cross Mongolia on its way to northern China. On paper, this would give Russia an additional 50 billion cubic meters of annual exports to the Chinese market. But while feasibility studies were completed, the project has stalled. One reason is that China has not fully committed. Beijing already receives large volumes of gas via the original Power of Siberia pipeline in eastern Siberia, as well as liquefied natural gas from global suppliers. With demand growth slowing, China is not in a rush to finance another massive pipeline through Mongolia. From China's perspective, energy security is about diversification. Relying too heavily on Russia could be risky, especially given Moscow's political unpredictability. Beijing prefers to balance imports between Central Asia, Russia, LNG by sea, and its own domestic production. A Mongolian route would add little that China does not already have elsewhere. Instead of pipelines, Mongolia relies on more flexible logistics. Oil products are imported mainly from Russia by railway tankers through border crossings like Naushki-Subatar. Trucks also bring in fuel through northern checkpoints. Private companies then distribute fuel domestically. On the other side, Mongolia does not import natural gas in significant quantities. There is no infrastructure for pipeline gas or liquefied natural gas. Heating is provided mainly by coal, electricity, and in some urban cases by bottled liquefied petroleum gas. Understanding Mongolia's energy balance further explains why pipelines are absent. Coal is the backbone of the energy system. Mongolia has huge coal reserves, especially in the Gobi region. Nearly 90% of electricity is generated from coal-fired power plants. Coal is also the primary heating fuel during Mongolia's long, harsh winters. Oil is produced in small amounts but exports most of it to China. Domestic consumption, transportation fuels, and heating oil comes from Russia. Gas is virtually absent. There is no significant domestic production, pipelines, or import terminals. Renewables are slowly growing. Mongolia has strong wind and solar potential, especially in the Gobi Desert. Several wind farms have been built and international donors are supporting more renewable projects. Lastly, hydropower is limited as Mongolia's rivers are not large enough to provide major capacity. This energy mix shows why pipelines are not prioritized. Coal is cheap and abundant, oil comes easily by rail from Russia, and natural gas demand is almost non-existent. Should Mongolia ever host a major pipeline? Mongolia could potentially benefit from transit fees and perhaps small volumes of gas for domestic use. However, the project's future depends on China's willingness, Russia's financing capacity, and Mongolia's political decision. Domestically, Mongolia is more focused on building its first oil refinery in Dornogovi province, financed partly by Indian loans. Once completed, it will reduce dependence on imported fuels and give the country more energy security. But even this project is years behind schedule, reflecting the broader challenges Mongolia faces in energy infrastructure. The absence of pipelines in Mongolia is not a simple oversight. It is the result of a complex web of physical challenges, economic constraints, domestic political dynamics, and great power geopolitics. With a small market, vast territory, and abundant coal, Mongolia has little incentive to build pipelines on its own. Its neighbors, meanwhile, calculate costs and benefits differently, leaving Mongolia outside the region's grand pipeline networks. For now, Mongolia's energy reality remains defined by coal at home and oil from Russia, carried not through underground pipelines but across the steppe by trains and trucks. Unless global energy geopolitics shift dramatically, Mongolia will continue to live in a pipeline-free world, balancing its survival between its two giant neighbors.